This was 2 nights before his death, and it was great. It really reinforced everyone's confidence that we're going to make these shows happen. And then the next night, the one that will really make you cry is the last song he sang, the Earth Song.
Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth as we make sure? He was in good spirits. He said goodbye to the crew, to the staff. He headed home. Little did he know he would never return to that arena.
Hold for applause, slow umbrella fade out.
A few hours later, he was dead.
He was as a hamster. Could not sit down, could not rest. It was restless, and he cried and craved for sleep.
Mm-hmm. What do you remember about that day?
The time he came home, which was the night before, around 1, or just shortly after 1, mm-hmm. and he just was not able to sleep.
Jackson gets home around 1 a.m. on June 25th, 2009, the last day of his life. Conrad Murray is already at his house.
During the rehearsals for the tour, Michael would come home late at night and Murray would meet him there. And the first thing he'd do would be put him on a saline drip because Michael would become very dehydrated during rehearsals. If Jackson couldn't go to sleep, he'd give him some sedatives.
According to court records, Conrad Murray tried a number of different things, and then he wouldn't sleep. And then hours later, he tried something else.
Conrad Murray said that he gave Michael Jackson some propofol between 10:40 and 10:50 a.m.
He said that Michael Jackson drifted off. He went to sleep.
Then went for a toilet break himself and came back into the room at around 11:02 to find Michael Jackson not breathing.
When did you realize he was in trouble?
Was what?
When did you realize he was in trouble?
Michael?
Yes.
When I came back into the room.
Conrad Murray said when he came back, he noticed that Michael wasn't breathing and that something was off with the IV tube. And what he is saying is that Michael Jackson did something himself to get more propofol into his system.
Take me to that terrible day.
Ty Chase, Jackson's personal chef, was downstairs at the mansion that morning.
Around 12:05, 12:10, Dr. Murray comes down the stairs to the stairwell that leads into the kitchen. And he's screaming, hurry, go get Prince, call security, get Prince. So Michael Jackson's eldest son. So I drop everything that I'm doing and I run into the den, which is very close to the kitchen, and I go get Prince.
Why do you think the doctor called for Prince?
Well, I think, at that point, maybe I panicked, and
the doctor panicked?
It just seemed like he was in a panicked state. He called for Prince, he called for security, just somebody that was allowed to go upstairs. So the energy in the house had just kind of changed from that happy kind of day that we were having to just kind of eerie.
He then reaches for his own cell phone and he calls Michael Amir Williams, who is Michael Jackson's assistant, and he said, send security to the bedroom. Doesn't ask him to call 911, but security.
Please state your name for the record.
Alberto Alvarez.
Alberto Alvarez, head of logistics for Michael's security team, he rushes to the house and up to that bedroom.
When I walked into the room and I turned towards my right, I observed Mr. Conrad Murray giving chest compressions to Mr. Jackson. He said, Alberto, hurry, we have to get him to a hospital. We have to get an ambulance. And I asked Dr. Conrad Murray what happened, and he said he had a reaction. He had a bad reaction. So while I was standing at the foot of the bed, he reached over and grabbed a handful of vials, and then he reached out to me and said, here, put these in a bag. I looked towards my right, and there was a plastic bag sitting on top of a chair. And so I proceeded to get the bag. I opened it, and he placed the vials in the bag. He then pointed to the IV stand, and he said, now, get that bag and put it in the blue bag. the IV stand was at my eye level, and I was able to notice that at the bottom of the bag there was what appeared to me like a milky white substance, sir.
At that time, did Conrad Murray instruct you to call 911?
Yes, sir.
I need an ambulance as soon as possible, sir. We have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing.
Fire paramedic 33, what is your emergency?
Yes, sir. I need an ambulance as soon as possible, sir. We have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we're trying to pump him, but he's not.
Okay. Did anybody witness what happened?
No, just the doctor, sir. The doctor's been the only one here.
That horrible day, Michael Jackson's team security member, Alberto Alvarez, called 911. And right after he hung up, Fahim Muhammad, the head of the security team, arrived in the room and was right there with Murray and Alvarez.
Fahim was coming in through the foyer. I believe I said, "It's not looking well," or "It's not looking good." Then Dr. Conrad Murray asked if anyone knew CPR. Fahim, actually, we kind of looked at each other for a split second, and I turned and went to assist Dr. Conrad Murray to do CPR.
And what, if anything, did Dr. Murray say as he was giving mouth to mouth?
After a couple or a few breaths that he breathed into Mr. Jackson, he came up and he said, "This is the first time I do mouth to mouth, but I have to. He's my friend."
On June 25th, 2009, I was assigned to Fire Station 71. The alarm sound comes on over the system and says 50-year-old male, cardiac arrest, 100 North Carrollwood. As we approached the scene, there were multiple security people, and they were all signaling for us to go upstairs. Walking into the room, one of the first observations that I made was that there was a doctor standing there. The gentleman identified himself as such, and that there were IV poles and oxygen tanks. This being the middle of the afternoon, very unusual, made me think perhaps this patient has a chronic illness.
He wanted to know what medicines the doctor had given him. I mean, there's an IV pole there. And Conrad Murray said nothing. He said he didn't give Michael Jackson anything. Then he admitted he gave him a low dose of lorazepam, one of the sedatives. He never mentioned propofol or any other drugs. The paramedics believe that Michael Jackson was dead for 20 to 60 minutes, somewhere in there, before they arrived. Because Michael Jackson was cool to the touch, he was flatlined on the EKG. The paramedics did not believe that it had just happened the way Conrad Murray explained to them.
After I assisted in carrying the patient down the stairs, I went back up the stairs to gather our equipment. At that point, that's where I saw Dr. Murray picking up, I couldn't tell what, and putting him in a bag. He was alone in the room at that time, and the look on his face was that of obvious surprise. When it was time to leave, I went out the front door of the house with Dr. Murray, and at that point, I saw that our ordinary call had become extraordinary. There was a double-deck tour bus with people standing on it. There were people in the street, cameras, phenomenal amount of chaos going on.
Do you want to trespass and you need to move off of the property?
Our photographer that was on the scene looked inside through the window of the fire truck that had accompanied the ambulance, and he saw on the screen it said 50-year-old male not breathing. And when I heard that, I knew Michael was 50 years old. We started to think for the first time, wow, this could be it for Michael. After the gurney loaded into the ambulance, the security kind of moved everyone away from the gate area.
Once we got backed up, I heard a thump against the side window. I looked over, and someone had taken a camera and was running down the street with their camera lens against the window.
But as it turned out, it was one of the biggest paparazzi photos of all time.
This man said that the tabloids offered him $250,000 to tell his story. And he said no.